After a gloomy weekend, we've had a stellar start to the week, and this will continue into tomorrow. This area I want to highlight here is where that green and the red are coming together. That's where there is rotation at the surface. Now, generally, that's the leading sign of when a tornado can come. Already just over an inch, and it's a packing snow, so it means it's a wet, dense, heavy snow. The road's behind me, slushy for now. Now, 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds expected here, and I wouldn't be surprised with some flash flooding as well, as it's kind of trained over the same area. The pockets of heavier snow are wherever we're seeing the brightest white. So that's just to the southeast of Canton. That jet stream has dipped off towards the south, off towards Los Angeles. That's called a trough. So what that does is build a lot of energy, and that's going to shoot right up to our backyard by the end of the weekend. Easton Corbin, the headliner. Hopefully you're not all over the roads on your way to the event, because he'll be on stage at 8 o'clock tonight. The East Coast still dealing with that low pressure system. It rolled through here on Saturday. It's basically the in-laws. It's not leaving.
The kangaroo could not believe it, I don't think.
It's like, what? You hit me?
He was unhappy.
Yes.
Unhappy.
Good night.
Yeah. He's here. Al Roker has made its way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's his 9th stop of the day already, Al. 18 states so far. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, we're just having a great time, meeting a lot of folks.
Brandon, we've got a lot going on in the weather department, right?
That's correct, Kelsey. Off towards our east, some very strong storms pushing through south central parts of Minnesota. Severe weather, tornado watches in effect for areas in eastern parts of Minnesota. That includes Jackson, Cottonwood, Dixon, Clay, and Buena Vista counties, while we're seeing some showers and even a couple rumbles of thunder moving towards the Yankton area. And clouds continue to increase across our area with snow flying off towards the west. Winds an issue, colder temperatures plunging in as well. We're into the 30s out west, while the 50s and 60s out east. Earlier we hit 80 degrees. And another story, the wind gusting out of the northwest right now, 35 to 50 miles per hour. A peak of sunshine in Yankton, but for the most part, mostly cloudy. Here's a look out west in Sioux Falls. Could see a couple of sprinkles falling on the Aerostay Hotel sky cam. We've got more of the wind down the way, and then the colder weather to follow. With that, we've got a shot at snowfall by the weekend. You might need the snowblower with that. We'll take a look at that in the full forecast in just a couple minutes.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Was out tonight, and it's just
Not
miserable
pleasant.
to be
Yeah.
outside for any more than a few seconds.
Yeah, I always remind myself that I hate the wind and the cold when I have to get gas.
Yeah.
Had to do that tonight. Not so fun. When you pull the gas pump up and the extra gas dribbles fly sideways, that's how you know it's windy. Wind gusts today up to 72 miles per hour in Peter.
Wow.
At 2 o'clock this morning. But yeah, if you were outside today, you had to hold on to something strong, because you could have blown over. 50 miles per hour wind gusts in Winter. Ridgeview there as well. Craven's Corner, 55. High today in Sioux Falls, 23 degrees. Below normal for once. So we've been dealing with above normal warmth for most of the last month and a half or so. Actually, the last 15 straight months, we ended with an average temperature above normal. That might not be the case this month. Now, 4:50, that sunset, we actually saw it in Sioux Falls because we had a decent amount of sunshine. A couple of snowflakes out there, not enough to record hundredth, so still 0 inches on the month in Sioux Falls. Had a decent amount of snow to the north and the east of us, off towards Duluth and in the northern parts of North Dakota, where they're dealing with the Arctic air just as we are. 6 in Bismarck, 5 in Billings, 27 in Chicago at the moment, and that cold air plunging all the way south. 9 at the moment in Brookings and Watertown, Mobridge at 8, but factor in that wind chill. Look at what it feels like. 15 below in Mobridge, 13 below in Brookings. So bundle up if you head outdoors. It is not pleasant. Kelsey said it best. Miserable out there. Wind gusts out of the northwest this evening, 15, 20, 30, 40 miles per hour in some spots. Strongest near the North Dakota-South Dakota border, and that's where we still have a winter weather advisory in effect until midnight tonight. A handful of counties, and off towards our north, blizzard warning still in effect. Now, the issue here is the travel across northern parts of South Dakota. Here's a look at the Trail City SD DOT cam along SD 20 and SD 63. Not pleasant, as there's a ton of snow piling up on those roadways. Here's a look at the no travel advisories out for north central parts of South Dakota, including US 212 and Highway 12 in northern South Dakota. Now, clear skies to the south, sadly, at this time of year, and with the kind of air mass we have, that means even colder weather on the way overnight tonight. Still some snow showers to the north and east and more towards our south. We'll escape most of that, but as we head on into tomorrow, could see a couple more of those flurries in northeastern South Dakota. Not going to amount to much, maybe a dusting to a half an inch in some spots, but for the most part, just going to make travel an issue with northwest winds continuing to stay strong. Now moving into Thursday, almost a carbon copy, but the good news here is the winds will be a little bit lighter, but look off towards our west. More moisture rolling in, and that moves in for the weekend. Warmer weather by Saturday. However, we could see a blast of snow make its way in. Now, as we move on into tomorrow, these are high temperatures, so just remember, wind out of the northwest could make it feel much colder with that wind chill. 14 in Winter, Gregory, and Chamberlain, 12 in Pierre, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. We'll see some snow showers or flurries to the northeast. Look at a high of 7 tomorrow in Gettysburg. Bundle up. We'll be at 15 in Sioux Falls and Mitchell. Wind gusts anywhere from 15 to 35 miles per hour. Sunshine, but won't do much. Now, Saturday, we do bring in that warmer weather. Look at the number, 27. Great. 50% chance of snow late in the day, so we'll keep an eye on that. Colder air back by next week.
Winter is here.
It is, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Brandon.
The blare of a weather siren warning you that there's a tornado on the ground and it's time for you to take shelter. But in some South Dakota communities, that may not always be the case.
What do you sound your siren for?
75, 80 mile an hour gust front winds.
For tornadoes only.
This one right over here goes off every hour from 8 until 6.
For confirmed tornadoes from a law enforcement or the National Weather Service.
2, 3 inch, 4 inch hail.
Heavy, dense concentrations of smoke plumes.
And the list goes on. After reaching out to emergency managers across the state of South Dakota, I found that there were more than a dozen different protocols on when to activate a siren, ranging from tornadoes to fire or even when it's time to eat dinner. Each color on this map is indicative of a different protocol on when to sound the alarm, and in most places there isn't even a set policy on when to actually test the sirens.
By looking at that map, what does that make you feel like?
Not good. I'm really surprised at what you found there.
With different meanings and protocols from county to county and in some circumstances city to city, how does someone visiting from out of town know what the siren means when it goes off?
Theoretically, you don't. And that's why we wanted to come up with some kind of common siren policy.
The community and the county that they're coming from may have a different policy. And so the more we can standardize it, the more we avoid the mixed messages.
Weather sirens like these are put in place to help warn the public of imminent weather danger, but inconsistencies on when to sound the sirens has some calling for change.
The biggest problem I have, again, is the mixed message component. If we're trying to tell people to take action and they hear the siren, they're sitting there thinking, well, is that a fire siren? Is that a curfew siren? What siren is that? And that's really what we need to overcome.
But overcoming that can be tricky, as there are 66 counties in South Dakota and not all sirens are state or county owned.
Get each county or each community to adopt that with us would be very difficult.
Varying meanings for each siren may not only cause confusion, but also ignorance. In May of 2011, the deadliest tornado in more than 50 years touched down in Joplin, Missouri, killing 159 people and injuring more than 1,000. Survivors of the storm said people disregarded the sirens because they said they were sounded too frequently in tests or in storms that didn't result in severe weather.
I didn't pay attention to the siren because it goes off too much. I didn't seek my place of shelter because when the siren goes off, a tornado never happens.
And while there hasn't been a tornado-related fatality in South Dakota since 1999, if the message of weather sirens continues to stay inconsistent, that could change sooner rather than later.
The protocols really do need to be the same for everybody, so we're on the same page.
Brandon, what are emergency managers doing to fix the mixed messages we're getting?
Well, some of these emergency managers have already met in the tri-state area, kind of just trying to get on the same page. Now, nothing has been set in stone yet, but they are working towards that. And if you do want to know what your weather warning means, we do have a link on our Facebook and Twitter pages, as well as KDLT.com.
It's surprising. I had no idea.
Kind of angering, isn't it?
It's amazing. All right. Thanks, Brandon.